Talking about heroes, Stefan, you mentioned one of the things you did was a negotiation and helping John Smith make a comeback in France to earn some euros as well. Tell us the story. We're all ears.
Yeah, so Johan Smith, not John Smith, the Springbok captain, Johan Smith, the Free State flanker, in my view, one of the greats of the game. He was my very first client. So, my business was essentially built around him, and my second client was CJ van der Linde, and both of them played more than 70 test matches. So I was again lucky. But John, having been involved since his very first contract and seeing him, make his debut, and I was there the day he made his debut, he for some reason we ended up with the tickets and not his parents, but my wife and I went to his debut, and because it was such a big deal for a guy for where he comes from, especially John's story, to then have this fairy tale ending that had a very unfortunate, abrupt end to his career just before that. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I think it was around 2011, 2012, after 4 unsuccessful operations, he retired from rugby. And I remember at the time the Volksblad ran a story on their front page, and they asked me for a quote, because I was synonymous with his career, and they always called me anything around John. And then I remember quoting that they put a quote in there that I said that, this is such an untimely finish. I don't want to believe the story. The story has to end in another way. I don't believe that this is the end, even though it was the end. It was, after 4 unsuccessful operations, he called it a day. He just couldn't. And then in that period, I moved to Cape Town and lost contact with John. And I had a meeting in Bloemfontein, and I flew in, and my flight back was delayed. And I remember going to the golf club to meet my buddies, and we were drinking beer, and my phone rings. It's an agent from France, my colleague Laurent Lafitte, who says he's at Toulon. They've just lost their flank out for the season. Do we have any proper loose forwards that they can sign? But it's urgent. It's big money. By then they were building their team. They had all the Johnny Wilkinson and Matt Gito and Buckies was there, and they were spending a lot of money building the best side ever. And I said to him, listen, this time of the year, there's no one available. All the marquee players have contracts. The only players that are available are the ones that have the profiles yet. It's like a Varsity Cup player. It's not the right profile for the club, but there's no Springbok players available. There's no marquee signings they can have. And it was the end of the conversation. But I said to him, let me have a think and I'll call you back. And 3 beers later, I call John Smith. I say, John, are you really, was that the end? Can you run again? Is there no way you can play again? And he said, unbelievable timing. He says, he ran today for the first time in, let's say, 18 months. He says he just ran 2 or 3 kilometers, and the first time that he has no pain. So what happened was, after that report on the front page of the Volksblad got published, a local doctor from Bloemfontein, Dr. Creer, who was more known for his knee ops, he called John. He looked him up, he got a hold of him, and he said, he has a new technique that he thinks will fix him. And if he is prepared to undergo the surgery, and he won't charge him. So out of desperation, and there's a bit of a backstory, John then started farming. He didn't get a drop of rain on that farm. His cash was running out. He was at a low point in his life, and then desperate, agreed to this operation. So now he's back. Nobody knows about it. He's just started running that day. I'm on the phone to him. I called that agent back after I spoken to John, and I said, John Smith's running again. I say, how much time have you got? He says, John Smith. He says, we don't have a lot of time. We've got 2 weeks. I called John back. I said, John, I can get you a trial at Toulon if you can pass the medical, because they've obviously done their research. And Laurent said to me that it'll be, subject to a very stringent medical checks and tests, and which you can understand. So I phoned John back. I say, listen, pal, there's a window of opportunity here, but we don't have a lot of time. So now John says, no, I need 3 weeks to get fit. I said, we don't have 3 weeks. We've got 2 weeks. I called Laurent back. He says, I said, maybe 2-3 weeks. He says, no, a week. And that's how it started. They're playing for time. Eventually, I called John back. I said, we have to run now. You have to train like never before. We don't have more than 2 weeks. I think we settled on 2 weeks, and then we booked the flights and we had some flights cancelled, and we ended up being 3 weeks, and he kept on training. So now we arrive in Toulon. I think by then he played 69 test matches, all this expectation, but all this whole thing about can he actually play again? And what we didn't know was the owner of Toulon, Murat Boujellal, he got a hold of the world authority on Achilles injuries, a doctor in Marseille. And they said to us when we arrived there, we'll do the tests on his heart and his lungs and blood tests and all those normal tests, but you are going to be subject to seeing this guy. If he says John can play again, there's a contract. If he can't play, then this guy's not happy, we're sending you back. There's nothing. So now, just again, John, by then, super anxious, desperate. His things are not going great at home. He's running out of cash, and such a great of the game to now have a glimmer of hope on the one side, but he sort of made peace with the fact that it's probably just maybe out of reach. And I remember this doctor was on holiday, so Toulon called him and he said he needs to come back from holiday and he needs to see this player right now. So this guy arrives there. We go to his practice. They drive us there. He arrives in slops and a running short on holiday, and the practice is locked. They've opened the doors and put the lights on, and we're nervous as hell. We don't know. This whole comeback story is now hanging in the balance here. And the guy, they took X-rays. So they took X-rays the day before, and now we have this X-rays in this envelope, and we give it to the guy, and he puts it up in his light, and he looks at it, and he starts speaking French to Laurent, and he sits down, and there's this eerie silence, and then he says, whoever fixed this knew what he was doing. He says, you will never have any Achilles issues ever. You are clear to play. And that moment was probably my career highlight as an agent and as someone involved in sport and a rugby enthusiast to see this guy, and I know the backstory, I know where he comes from, and I know how hard it was to retire and what he tried to stay in the game, and for him to get that news, he burst into tears. I mean, John is known as a hard man, he's not a guy to show his emotions, and he grabbed me. And we just sat there and we cried. So like I'm about to cry now, but it was such a powerful moment. It was incredible. And then from the tears, he got up like a hawk. He said, okay, let's go. I want to take me to the training field. I want to get some tackle bags. I'm now, he's so fired up. And we went to Murat Boujellaal's office. And I remember sitting there with Laurent and discussing the contract. And I was looking out of the window, and John was absolutely destroying the people there on the field. And I knew this guy's back. And now he's got this, it's like he's this newfound energy, and he knew he could escape his situation. But the fairy tale ending of that story, I remember watching him in the Heineken Cup final the year after. He scored the winning try, and I think it was against Saracens. He scored the winning try, winning the Heineken Cup. I think it was 2014. A week later, he had another blinder and won the French Top 14 title. And, that was a very personal experience from being there from the start, seeing him at his lowest, and then again, seeing him getting a new lease of life, a new injection into his career. And then from there, he played in Toulon, and then I signed Dwayne Vermeulen in his place, and he then went to Japan. And then when he retired, we moved Dwayne Vermeulen from Toulon to Japan. It's incredible how these things work. But yeah, it was a very special memory, a very personal one, and a very emotional one, and something that the rugby public are not always privy to is these backstories and the personal struggles these players have, and how unfairly we treat rugby players.